Purdue may not be at the top of your list for losers in this 2024 offseason, but oh my gosh, it was an exodus from campus this season. 25 transfers. They only replaced them with 16. They lost the conference sack leader, and Nick Scorton to Texas A&M. He's coming home to play for the Aggies. That's a tough look for the Boilermakers. And listen, in a conference that's already hard enough to play in when you share it with the likes of Michigan and Ohio State, now you've got to welcome Oregon, USC, Washington, UCLA to town, and you don't have that identity in West Lafayette that led to them being the Spoilermakers, right? I mean, they were dangerous each week that they showed up on your calendar. Right now, I don't know that you feel like that, and the transfers out certainly are not helping this program.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head, Mitch. When you're a Purdue of the world, it's going to be very, very difficult in this modern era of college football to keep your team together because look at Nick Scorton. Obviously, leads the Big Ten in sacks, and the first year that he's off. There might be some other things at play here. Obviously, he moved back to a school that's 5 minutes from his home high school, so maybe he wants to go back home. I don't know the full story there, but that's going to be the story for a lot of these programs at the level of Purdue, these mid to lower tier power conference programs. They're going to lose their star players more often than not. And that's the sad reality of college football. They've got to figure out a way. And once someone does it, I think there'll be a model, but no one's really figured out a way to keep that talent at these schools just yet. And until someone does, and there's a model to follow, or there's just a big amount of investment in the program, it's going to be really hard to keep these talented players on the campus in places like West Lafayette.
Yeah, and I mean, clearly, Trey, the model is not there for Purdue. Don't follow the Purdue model because that's the model that got.
They kept Zach Edey. I don't know how they did that, but
yeah, that's not awful, I guess. I don't know. I just look at them and I say this is just another casualty of the expanding conferences and all of that. That's really the only thing I don't like about this whole new era. We were just talking about new modern football, and like I don't care about the NIL or stuff like that. Like that's all great stuff and great additions, but man, these mega conferences. Really, there is a bigger conversation around that and what it's going to do to some of these sort of middle to low tier teams. And yeah, Purdue right now just getting kind of ground up in the Big Ten.
I think so. I'm worried about them. Now, we're going to talk about UMass in just a second. We've got one more loser here. We'll transition to them in a second. But I'm concerned for the teams like Purdue, right, that are at the bottom of these mega conferences that really just it's not that they turn into bye weeks necessarily, but you've seen what's happened at Indiana. It's hard to keep talent on campus, right? Like if you are going to play at Indiana or Purdue right now, you kind of know we're not competing for anything of note in the conference. We're looking to get developed. We're looking to, achieve an awesome bowl game, maybe pull off an upset or two during my career, or you're going there to catch somebody else's eye and ultimately transfer out. That's what I'm concerned about in this new super conference system that we're moving to.
Gracious, how about